Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Chillest of Sontars as we have the Dark Elves facing off against Norsca. The Dark Elves are being led by Russell Westbrick, and I am leading the Norskins. So for the Dark Elf army, it is being led by Malekith. He's going to be bringing Soul Stealer, Gaze of Malice, and Stand Your Ground. We also have the Cainite Assassin, who has a very nice poison effects with his missile strength of 800 and a nice melee attack of 70. We, of course, do have the Chill of Sontar with his frostbite and armor piercing attacks. And for the rest of the Dark Elf forces, we have Black Art Corsairs, 4 of which kind of deployed up in the forefront, trying to get some shots off onto the Norskins before their front line takes over, which is going to be the Helibroni, 2 Blackguard of Nagarons, and the Sisters of Singing Doom. Yeah, the Helibroni are going to have their poison anti-large silver shields, and of course the Sisters of Singing Doom pretty much going to be trying to get their Madness of Cain onto any of the large targets, particular Wulfric, to get him into these Blackguard or the Helibroni. That's pretty much going to be the game plan for the Dark Elves, with that Chillest Sontar acting as a little bit of a support for those Blackguards, and I'm sure those Blackguards will be close to it at all times. And for the Norskins, we do have a front line of Marauders with a couple of Marauder Berserkers to back them up. We are, of course, being led by Wulfric the Wanderer with Seafang, Fight or Die, and Hunter of Champions. We have Ephemera Balefina of Shadows, bringing Enfeebling Foe and Pendulum, I do believe. And that is true with also the Miststalkers. And on the flanks, we do have Skin Wolves, some Norscan Ice Wolves, and Mara Horsemen on both flanks. And to get things started off, Norskins are going to get a nice little dodge off on a Gaze of Malice. And let's get things going. Nice little dodge into the rear as the Gaze of Malice goes in, but the Marauder Horsemen are going to start with their skirmishing, try and get things in. Now the Ice Wolves here, they do have their Frostbite, so they're pretty much here to slow down any potential skirmish cav that the Dark Elves could be bringing, and to allow those Skin Wolves to then catch them. And then the Horsemen are just going to be acting as a little bit of fire support, as the Black Art Corsairs with handbows are going to be firing in. The Chillest Sontar getting his breath attack in, doing some nice damage to these Marauder Berserkers. And now the Norscan force is going to be closing in the gap with a Seafang, just roasting through these Black Art Corsairs, and a nice Pendulum going to be dodged pretty much for the most part by the Dark Elves as they do pull back their other handbows and Blackguard. And now the rest of the forces are going to be engaging in melee. Chillest Sontar going to be wading forward, just kind of waltzing right on through those Marauders as if they weren't even there. But otherwise, the Norskins here are getting a decent little surround off. A Web of Shadows actually going down, reducing the speed and the combat, doing a little bit of extra damage. And it looks like a Soul Stealer is going to be down, clipping Wulfric, these Miststalkers, and some Marauder Berserkers, as well as Wulfric is now engaged with the Chillest Sontar. Chillest Sontar is going to be backing up as the Sisters of Singing Doom are coming in. They probably should be holding back a little bit, at least for now. They are able to rampage the Miststalkers, so that is very nice. So they will be engaging with those Blackguard. But otherwise, things are looking kind of grim for the Dark Elves, as the Norskins are pretty much surrounding them on all fronts. And that is going to start to see things break here and there. A Gaze of Malice and a Pendulum cutting through some units as the Murderous Prowess is procced for the Dark Elves, giving them a little bit of a boost. But a lot of their elite infantry, particularly these Blackguards, are taking a major beating between the Miststalkers and these Marauders. The Miststalkers, they aren't going to be faring so hot in that engagement, but with the support of the Marauders, they are doing fairly well. And the Seafangs and the Pendulums have helped to soften the blow. Otherwise, on the peripheries, we do see the Skin Wolves kind of trying to clean up those range units of the Dark Elves. Norscan Ice Wolves getting into there, but another Seafang cutting through these units, maybe clipping a few Marauders on the way. But otherwise now Wolfric is pretty much just clear to kind of disengage. He does get clipped by another Soul Stealer, as Malekith does catch a lot of nice key targets in, as we get the Marauder Berserkers and the Miststalkers and some even more Marauders in there, doing some nice damage overall. But that Chill of Sontar is starting to waver, and with the lack of mobility for the Dark Elves, if that thing does rout, there is no saving it, as it will very likely be just pushed off the map. The Canine Assassin also taking quite a bit of damage. But in this middle engagement, these Miststalkers are wavering, but that is likely the least of the Norscan worries, as, I mean, the Wolfric, the Wanderer, and all these Marauders are surrounding that Miststalker, and as well as Malekith, as the mobility in the form of the Skinwolves and the Marauder Horsemen are cleaning up shop in the outskirts of the battle. And the balance power is very much now in the Norscans' favor. And another Gaze of Malice, though, going down onto these clumped up units, doing a lot of damage to these Marauders. And now, yeah, Wolfric is going to be pulling out, letting his infantry do the work for him, as these Blackguard do end up routing. I'm sure these Norscan Ice Wolves will be peeling off to make sure that they do not come back. And the Skin Wolves now finally coming in to get their anti-large in onto that Chill of Sontar. Pretty much that would have been their key target, so now that all of the Blackguard and the Hellebroni have been taken care of, they are now free to come into that engagement and do what they do best. At this point, yeah, I don't think there is a whole lot left for the Dark Elves to be able to handle things, and army losses are probably going to be triggering very, very shortly. That Chill of Sontar is starting to waver. Malekith is still sitting pretty good in terms of health, but it's not going to be enough to deal with Wolfric the Wanderer, who still has a ton of HP despite what it does appear to be, and Malekith will rout, and that will be our match. So take a look at the after battle report. So I think the Dark Elves did suffer a bit from the lack of mobility, and while the Norscans had plenty of it, so they were able to, I mean, pretty much use their mobility freely without any hindrance whatsoever. The Blackguard Corsairs they don't have enough damage output to make a difference quickly. They really did need to have either some repeater crossbows or some Scourge Runners as well to kind of at least contest the mobility department, because if anything were breaking in the form of their infantry blob, the Norscans had free reign to kind of just make sure everything just got chased off. You do have some sources of terror in this army here in the form of the Sisters of Singing Doom, but yeah, when pretty much anything that does rout from the Norscans are able to come right back, it's not going to be a whole lot of help there. Otherwise, it was a good match. I like the combo of the Sisters of Singing Doom with the Blackguard of Nagaron to really rampage these units into pretty much non-ideal situations. They did do a lot of good work to the Miststalkers. Miststalkers only getting 27 kills, but they did do quite a bit of damage in return to that Chill of Sontar. But otherwise, yeah, it was a good match. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.